Inspired by a true love story. The courthouse smelled of old paper and floor wax, the same as it had every day for the last 8 years. Jackson adjusted his cufflinks, checked his reflection in the polished brass of the elevator door, and stepped into courtroom 3B. Third case of the morning. Routine. He'd won the last 12 in a row. The streak felt like armor. Across the aisle sat Rita Obed, first-year associate, fresh ink on her bar certificate still metaphorical. She wore a navy suit that fit like it had been tailored yesterday, and a calm that didn't belong to someone facing Jackson Richards in open court. He recognized her immediately. Those wide, watchful eyes hadn't changed since university. But the recognition came with no warmth, only a flicker of calculation. She'd been a footnote once. Now she was opposing counsel. The judge called the case. Jackson rose, voice smooth, facts marshaled like infantry. He painted his client as the wronged party, the contract crystal clear. He was halfway through his closing when Rita stood. "Your Honor," she said, soft but precise, "defense moves to admit Exhibit 17B, the email chain Mr. Richards claims doesn't exist." Jackson's pulse skipped. He'd buried that chain. Rita laid the printouts on the bench with the reverence of a priest handling scripture. The judge's eyebrows climbed. The jury leaned forward. 10 minutes later, Jackson's streak lay in pieces on the courtroom floor. He found her in the corridor afterward, heels clicking away from him. "Rita." She turned. No smile, no gloat. Just the same steady gaze that used to wait outside his dorm at 10 p.m. with lecture notes he never asked for. "Congratulations," he said. The word tasted metallic. You taught me how to lose gracefully. I just chose not to." Memory hit him then. Her small room in the female hostel, the single bed, the way she'd whispered his name like a vow the night she gave him everything. He'd left before sunrise, phone already buzzing with the next girl's texts. Virginity, to him, was a trophy. To her, a covenant. He opened his mouth, closed it. She walked away.
2 weeks later, he saw her again, this time in the law library. She sat alone under the skylight, surrounded by case reporters, hair twisted up with a pencil. He told himself he only wanted the Oputu Vistate citation on the shelf behind her. He lied well. He'd been doing it since final year. "Still celebrating?" he asked, sliding into the opposite chair. "Still working," she said, without looking up. He watched her annotate margins in neat purple ink. The silence stretched, not hostile, just full. Finally, she capped her pen. "Why did you come over here, Jackson?" "To say I was impressed." "You were impressed the night I cooked jollof for your birthday, and you never showed. Impressed didn't bring you down." The directness winded him. "I was 21. "You were cruel," she corrected. "There's a difference." He leaned back, studied the dust motes in the shaft of light between them. "People change." "Do they?" She closed the book. "I kept every briefing note you ever lent me. Burned them the day I passed the bar. Smoke smelled like closure." He laughed. Couldn't help it. The sound startled the second year dozing 3 tables over. "I deserve that," he said. "You deserve worse," she replied, but her mouth softened. "Lucky for you, I believe in redemption arcs. They just take longer than one conversation." They began meeting for coffee in the next couple of days, ostensibly to trade war stories. He told her about the partner who cried in the restroom after losing a motion. She told her about the client who paid her in plantain chips. Neutral ground, safe. One Thursday, the rain came down in sheets. The cafe lost power. Candles flickered in glass jars. Jackson watched droplets slide down the window and saw, superimposed, the girl who used to wait under the mango tree outside the moot court, umbrella forgotten because she was memorizing his smile. "I was awful to you," he said suddenly. "Yes?" "I didn't know what I had." "You didn't want to know." He reached across the table, fingertips brushing her wrist. She let him. The candle between them guttered. "I'm not asking for forgiveness, just a chance to be someone who deserves it." Rita studied his face, the way she studied precedents, slow, thorough, unafraid of footnotes. Then she turned her hand palm up and laced their fingers. You earn it in open court. No settlements.
They became the firm's worst-kept secret. Associates placed bets on which of them would file first in the inevitable romance tribunal. Jackson lost 3 cases in a row. On purpose, rivals whispered. He didn't correct them. Losing to Rita felt like winning something larger. One night, 6 months in, they worked late on a merger brief. The office emptied. The city glittered beyond the glass. Rita kicked off her heels, feet in Jackson's lap, as he rubbed absent circles on her ankle. "Remember the first time you kissed me?" "Under the law faculty staircase. You tasted like fear and peppermint. I thought it meant forever." "It should have." She sat up, straddled his chair, knees framing his hips. The brief slid to the floor, forgotten. "Mean it now," she whispered. He did. Slowly, deliberately, the way she once begged him to in a narrow hostel bed when he'd been too rushed, too careless. This time he mapped every sigh, learned the new topography of her laughter lines, apologized with his tongue where words had failed. When she came apart, she said his name like a verdict, final, binding, merciful. A year later, they stood in the same courtroom, 3B, but side by side. Joint counsel on a pro bono case, wrongly convicted teenager, DNA evidence overlooked. The prosecutor wilted under their combined fire. The boy walked free before lunch. Afterward, in the corridor where their story had cracked open, Jackson dropped to one knee. No ring yet, he'd learned not to presume. "Rita Obed, will you keep beating me in court and letting me love you anyway?" She laughed through tears, hauled him up by his lapels, kissed him hard enough that the bailiff looked away. "Yes," she said, "but I still get to cross-examine you at the wedding." They wrote their own vows under the mango tree that had once sheltered her loneliness. She promised to challenge him daily. He promised to lose with grace and win only when justice demanded it. The rings were simple, white gold, no diamonds to outshine the light in her eyes. At the reception, the DJ played "With You" by Davido. Rita dragged Jackson to the floor. He stepped on her toes twice, apologized like a meme, made her laugh so hard champagne fizzed out her nose. Later, on the balcony of the beach house they had rented for the honeymoon, Atlantic wind whipping her lace veil, she rested her head on his shoulder. "Still think love's a one-sided summation?" He considered the question, the woman, the long road from predator to partner. He said, "No. It's a joint memorandum. Takes 2 signatures to make it binding." She kissed the corner of his mouth, salt and promise. "Then let's keep drafting, counselor. We've got a lifetime."
If Jackson and Rita's journey from courtroom rivals to soulmates left you smiling, tearing up, or shouting yes at your screen, hit that subscribe button on my YouTube channel right now. Every week, I drop a brand new love story inspired by real hearts, like this one. Turn on the bell so you never miss the next story. Comment RITA WON below if you're team Second Chance Love. Subscribe here, youtube.com/@jgeorgiananibor. Let's keep falling in love, one story at a time.